The Alien Princese froze when she saw my face. You can't be real, this is a dream. Captain Marcus Chen stood on the bridge of the Starship Endeavour, watching the massive alien world grow larger on the viewing screen. 3 moons circled the planet, each one glowing with a soft blue light. Strange crystal towers reached up from the surface like fingers touching the stars. Captain, we're receiving another message from the surface, said Lieutenant Sarah Park, the communications officer. Her voice carried a mix of excitement and nervousness. Marcus nodded. Put it through. The screen flickered, and a beautiful alien face appeared. The being had pale, almost transparent skin that seemed to glow from within. Her eyes were large and silver, like polished mirrors. When she spoke, her voice sounded like music. Welcome, travelers from the world called Earth, she said. I am Princess Lyrale of the Zephyrian Empire. We have prepared a great welcome for you in our capital city. Marcus stepped forward. Thank you, Your Highness. We are honored by your invitation. I am Captain Marcus Chen, representing the United Earth Space Command. The princess smiled, but Marcus noticed something strange in her expression. She looked excited, but also afraid. We will meet soon, Captain Chen. Very soon. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge crew in silence. Sir, said Commander Jake Morrison, Marcus's second in command. Are you sure about this? We know almost nothing about these people. Marcus looked at his friend. They had served together for 10 years. Through peaceful missions and dangerous ones, Jake always worried about the details, which made him a good officer. The Zephyrians sent us detailed star maps to find their world, Marcus said. They've been nothing but friendly in all our communications. Besides, this is why we're out here, to make contact with new civilizations. Dr. Eleanor Rodriguez, the ship's scientist, looked up from her data pad. Captain, I've been studying their language patterns. The Zephyrians seem to have been waiting for us, not just expecting contact with aliens in general, but specifically waiting for humans. What do you mean? Marcus asked. Their messages use phrases like the ones who were promised and those who matched the ancient words. It's almost like they knew we were coming. Marcus felt a strange chill run down his spine. Could be just translation errors. We'll learn more when we meet them face to face. 2 hours later, the shuttle Horizon carried Marcus and his diplomatic team toward the planet's surface. The team included Commander Morrison, Dr. Rodriguez, Lieutenant Park, and Sergeant Tom Bradley. Their security chief Dot. As they flew through the alien atmosphere, Marcus stared out the window. The crystal towers were even more beautiful up close. They seemed to sing in harmony, creating music that could be heard even inside the shuttle. Amazing, whispered Dr. Rodriguez. Those crystals are generating some kind of harmonic frequency. It's like the whole city is one giant musical instrument. The shuttle landed in a courtyard made of smooth white stone. Hundreds of Zephyrians waited for them, all dressed in flowing robes of different colors. They looked human in many ways, but their skin had that strange inner glow, and they moved with a grace that seemed almost supernatural. Remember, Marcus told his team as they prepared to exit the shuttle, we represent all of humanity today. Be respectful, be observant, and be ready for anything. The shuttle door opened, and Marcus stepped out into the alien air. It smelled like flowers and rain. The crowd of Zephyrians watched in complete silence as the human delegation walked forward. At the far end of the courtyard, a group of figures waited on a raised platform. In the center stood Princess Lyrale, even more beautiful in person than she had appeared on the screen. She wore a gown that seemed to be made of liquid starlight, and a crown crystal rested on her silver hair. Marcus and his team approached the platform. He had practiced this moment many times, rehearsing the proper diplomatic greetings that Earth's linguists had prepared. Princess Lyrale. Marcus began, stopping at the bottom of the steps. On behalf of the people of Earth, I thank you for this warm welcome. We come in peace, hoping to build friendship between our peoples. Princess Lyrale stepped forward to respond. She moved with elegant grace. Her silver eyes focused on Marcus. But as she got closer, something changed. Her steps slowed. Her eyes grew wide. The confident smile disappeared from her face. She stopped completely, staring directly at Marcus. Her hand rose to her throat, and she took a shaking breath. "You," she whispered, her musical voice trembling. "You can't be real." The entire courtyard fell silent. Even the crystal towers seemed to stop their singing. Marcus felt confused. "Your Highness, is something wrong?" Princess Lyrali took another step closer, her silver eyes never leaving his face. She studied every detail, his brown eyes, his dark hair, the way his eyebrows moved when he spoke. Her pale skin seemed to glow brighter, and Marcus could see that she was shaking. "This is a dream," she said, her voice barely audible. "It has to be a dream." She reached out her hand toward Marcus's face, then stopped. Her fingers hovered inches from his cheek, trembling in the air. It was as if she wanted to touch him, but was afraid he might disappear. The other Zephyrians on the platform began to whisper among themselves. Marcus caught words he didn't understand, but their tones suggested excitement and fear mixed together. An older Zephyrian male, wearing robes of deep blue, stepped forward quickly. "Princess," he said urgently, "remember where you are. Remember who you are." But Princess Lyrali didn't seem to hear him. She continued staring at Marcus with wonder and disbelief. "Your face," she whispered. The ancient texts described it perfectly. The twin lights that see into souls. The divine symmetry of creation itself. Marcus exchanged a quick glance with Commander Morrison. This was definitely not going according to their diplomatic protocol. "Princess," Marcus said gently, "I'm just a human being, a person from Earth. I don't understand what you mean about ancient texts." At the word human, a ripple of sound went through the crowd. Some Zephyrians fell to their knees. Others backed away in apparent fear. Still others pressed forward, trying to get a better look. Princess Lyrali finally lowered her shaking hand. Tears had formed in her silver eyes, making them shine like stars. "The prophecy," she breathed. "After 10,000 years, the prophecy is coming true." She turned to address the crowd, her voice suddenly strong and clear. "Citizens of Zephyria," she announced, "the guardians of the final hour have arrived. The ancient promise has been kept." Marcus felt the weight of hundreds of alien eyes upon him. Whatever was happening, he realized that this first contact was about to become much more complicated than anyone had expected. The crystal towers began to sing again, but this time their music sounded different. It sounded like a song of celebration and perhaps of warning. The great hall of the Zephyrian Palace was unlike anything Marcus had ever seen. Crystal walls stretched up into darkness, and floating lights danced through the air like tiny stars. Princess Lyrali sat across from him at a table made from a single piece of glowing stone. She had changed into simpler robes, but her silver eyes still held that look of wonder. The older Zephyrian who had spoken earlier sat beside her. His name was Counselor Vex, and he seemed to be her chief advisor, Captain Chen. Princess Lyrali began, her voice more controlled now. "I must apologize for my reaction in the courtyard. What you witnessed was unexpected, even for us." Marcus leaned forward. "Princess, I think we need to understand what's happening here. You mentioned a prophecy and called us guardians of the final hour. What does that mean?" Dr. Rodriguez opened her datapad. "We've also noticed that your people seem to have been specifically expecting humans, not just any alien species." Princess Lyrali exchanged a look with Counselor Vex. The old Zephyrian nodded slowly. "Very well," she said. "But first, you must understand that what I'm about to tell you will change everything, not just for your people and mine, but for the entire galaxy." She stood and walked to the crystal wall. With a gesture, the wall began to glow, showing images like pictures on a screen. 10,000 years ago, Princess Lyrali continued, "Our greatest prophet, Sir Ethan, received a vision during the Festival of Three Moons. He saw the future of our galaxy, including a great darkness that would one day threaten all life." The images on the wall showed an old Zephyrian man with white hair, his eyes glowing with inner light. Round him, other Zephyrians wrote down his words on crystal tablets, but he also saw hope. The princess said he described beings who would come from a distant world when the darkness returned. He called them the guardians of the final hour. Marcus watched as the wall showed new images. They depicted creatures that looked remarkably human: 2 arms, 2 legs, faces with forward-facing eyes. The prophet described them in great detail. Princess Lyrale continued. He said they would have twin sons for eyes that pierced the veil of deception. He spoke of their divine symmetry, features arranged in perfect balance. Most important, he said their faces would show emotions as clearly as crystal shows light. Commander Morrison spoke up. Princess, with respect, those descriptions could match many species. Why are you certain they refer to humans, Counselor? Vex answered this time. Because the prophecy was not unique to our world, Commander Morrison. The crystal wall changed again, showing star maps of the galaxy. Dozens of worlds were marked with glowing symbols. Every major civilization in our galaxy has similar prophecies, Vex explained. The Karate Empire speaks of the ones who feel all things. The Stellar Republic calls them the Eternal Wanderers. The Crystal Collective names them those who dream while awake. Dr. Rodriguez looked amazed. You're saying that civilizations across the galaxy all have prophecies about the same species? All describing the same physical characteristics, Princess Lyrale confirmed. All predicting their arrival during our darkest hour, and all written thousands of years ago, long before any of our peoples had contact with each other. Marcus felt a chill. What kind of darkness are these prophecies talking about? The princess hesitated. The ancient enemy, the void devourers. The crystal wall went dark for a moment, then showed images that made everyone in the room feel cold. Dark shapes moved through space, swallowing entire star systems. Planets went silent one by one. They came from beyond our galaxy long ago, Princess Lyrale said quietly. They consumed entire civilizations, not just destroying them, but somehow absorbing their essence. Billions of beings simply disappeared. What happened to them? Lieutenant Park asked. They vanished as suddenly as they had come, Counselor Vex replied. But the prophecies all agree they will return, and when they do, only the Guardians can stop them. Marcus stood and walked to the crystal wall. The images showed human faces, from different angles, with notes written in alien languages. You really believe we're these Guardians? He asked. Princess Lyrale moved to stand beside him. Captain, when I saw your face today, it was like seeing someone from a dream I've had my entire life. Every Zephyrian child learns the description of the Guardians, your features, your expressions, even the way you stand. It all matches perfectly. But we're just explorers, Marcus protested. We're not warriors or magical beings. We're just humans trying to learn about the universe, perhaps. That's exactly what makes you special, the princess suggested. Dr. Rodriguez had been studying her datapad. Captain, I'm picking up something interesting. There are ships approaching this system. Lots of them. Counselor Vex moved to a crystal panel on the wall. After touching several symbols, he turned back to the group with a serious expression. Word of your arrival has spread faster than we expected, he said. Representatives from 47 different worlds are coming here. Some to see the Guardians with their own eyes, others to test whether the prophecies are true. Marcus felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. How long do we have? The first ships will arrive within hours, Princess Lyrale replied. Captain, I know this is overwhelming. You came here for simple diplomatic contact, and instead you've walked into something that involves the fate of the galaxy. Commander Morrison stepped forward. Sir, maybe we should return to the Endeavor and contact Earth Command. This is bigger than our mission parameters. Marcus thought for a moment. Through the crystal wall, he could see alien ships beginning to appear in the sky like new stars. No, he said finally. These people have been waiting 10,000 years. The least we can do is hear them out. Princess Lyrale smiled, and for the first time since they met, she looked truly happy. There's something else you should know, she said. The prophecies don't just describe your arrival. They also contain detailed information about fighting the void devourers, strategies, tactics, even technologies that don't exist yet. Written 10,000 years ago, Dr. Rodriguez asked in amazement. Double quotes yes, as if someone who had already fought then wanted to leave instructions for the next time. Marcus looked out at the growing number of ships in the sky. Representatives from dozens of worlds were coming to see if humanity really was their prophesied salvation. Princess, he said, I think we need to see all of these prophecies, every single one. I was hoping you would say that. She replied, but first, you should know, long-range sensors detected something yesterday. Dark shapes moving in the outer regions of our galaxy. After thousands of years of silence. She paused, her silver eyes reflecting the dancing lights. The void devourers may be returning. Marcus felt the weight of an entire galaxy's hopes settling on his shoulders. Whatever came next, humanity was about to face its greatest challenge. 3 days had passed since the first alien ships arrived at the Zephyrian capital. Now, the sky was filled with vessels from across the galaxy. Marcus stood at the window of his guest's quarters, watching ships of every shape and size orbiting. The planet-like metal moons, a soft knock came at his door. Come in, he called. Not turning away from the window, Princess Lyrale entered, carrying a tray of food. She had been bringing him meals personally, something that worried her advisors but seemed natural to her. You look tired, she observed, setting the tray on a small table. Marcus finally turned around. I haven't slept much. Hard to rest when beings from 50 different worlds want to touch your face to see if you're real. The princess smiled sadly. I'm sorry about the karate delegation yesterday. Their species shows respect by pressing their foreheads against those they honor. I should have warned you. Marcus sat down heavily in a chair. It's not just that, Lyrale. May I call you Lyrale? She nodded, her silver eyes warm. Of course. These people expect me to have answers I don't have, Marcus continued. Today, the ambassador from Nexus Prime asked me to solve a trade dispute that's lasted 30 years. The Stellar Republic wants me to choose their next leader. A group of crystalline monks believe I can teach them the meaning of existence. Lyrale sat across from him. They see you as more than just a person. To them, you represent hope itself. But I'm not a prophet or a savior, Marcus said, running his hands through his hair. I'm just a starship captain from Earth. I don't know how to be what they need me to be. Through the window, they could see crowds of aliens gathered in the palace courtyards below. Some prayed, others simply waited, hoping for a glimpse of the humans. My crew is struggling too. Marcus added, Commander Morrison hasn't left the ship in 2 days. Dr. Rodriguez can barely work with all the alien scientists wanting to study her, and Sergeant Bradley says he feels like a museum exhibit. Lyrale reached across the table and gently touched his hand. I understand your burden, Marcus. Do you know what happened to me when the prophecies first came true? Marcus shook his head. I stopped sleeping, she said. For weeks, I stayed awake studying every ancient text, trying to understand what it meant. My advisors feared I was losing my mind. The responsibility felt too great. What changed? Marcus asked. I realized that prophecies don't make people special, Lyrale replied. People make prophecies come true through their choices and actions. You don't have to be perfect, Marcus. You just have to be human. Before Marcus could respond, his communication device buzzed. Commander Morrison's voice came through, tense and urgent. Captain, you need to get back to the ship immediately. We've received some disturbing reports from the Outer Rim. Marcus and Lyrale exchanged worried looks. 30 minutes later, they stood in the Endeavor's briefing room with the senior staff. Dr. Rodriguez was displaying star charts on the main screen, her face pale. 3 colonies in the Andromeda sector have gone silent, she reported. No distress signals. No final transmissions. They just stopped communicating. Equipment failure? Suggested Lieutenant Park. All 3 at the same time, Commander. Morrison shook his head. That's too much coincidence. Dr. Rodriguez changed the display. Long-range sensors from the outer monitoring stations detected these images. Before they also went silent, the screen showed space itself seeming to bend and twist. Dark shapes moved through the void, but they hurt to look at directly, as if they absorbed light itself. How big are those things? Sergeant Bradley asked. Based on the sensor readings, each ship is roughly the size of our moon, Dr. Rodriguez replied quietly. The room fell silent. Princess Lyrale moved closer to the screen, her face showing recognition and fear. It's them, she whispered. The Void Devourers. Just like the ancient records described, Marcus felt his stomach drop. How long until they reach inhabited space at their current speed? They'll hit the first major colony worlds within 2 weeks, Dr. Rodriguez answered. Commander Morrison turned to Marcus. Sir, we need to contact Earth Command immediately. Humanity needs to know what's coming. Already done, Marcus replied. But it will take our fastest ships 3 months to reach Earth and return with reinforcements. We don't have that kind of time. Princess Lyrale stepped forward. The prophecies contain more than just descriptions of your rival, Marcus. They included tactical information, battle plans, and strategies for fighting the Devourers. Strategies written by people who lived 10,000 years ago. Sergeant Bradley sounded skeptical. Perhaps by people who had already fought them. Lyrale suggested, and survived long enough to leave warnings for the future. Dr. Rodriguez pulled up her research notes. I've been studying the prophecies from different worlds. They all mention something called the immunity of chaos. The Guardians are supposed to possess some quality that protects them from the Devourer's primary weapon. What kind of weapon? Marcus asked. Princess Lyrale's expression grew dark. According to our records, the Void Devourers don't just destroy civilizations. They absorb them. Every living being becomes part of their collective consciousness. Entire species become extensions of their will. Mind control, Commander Morrison said grimly. More than that, Lyrale continued. Complete mental domination. Every thought, every memory, every dream becomes theirs. It's worse than death. It's eternal slavery. Marcus walked to the viewing port and stared out at the gathered alien fleet. And the prophecies say humans are immune to this. Not immune, Dr. Rodriguez corrected, reading from her notes. The ancient texts say the Guardians possess minds like storms that cannot be calmed. Their thoughts are too chaotic and unpredictable for the Devourers to control. Lieutenant Park looked confused. Are they saying humans are crazy? Princess Lyrale almost smiled despite the situation. Not crazy, individual. Every human thinks differently, feels differently, dreams differently. Your species has incredible mental diversity. Most alien civilizations think in similar patterns, she continued. We share collective thoughts and emotions. But humans, each of you is completely unique. That chaos might be exactly what we need. Marcus turned back to the group. Even if that's true, what can 5 humans do against a fleet of moon-sized ships? More than you might think, Lyrale said. The prophecies speak of humans not fighting alone, but leading combined fleets from many worlds. Your immunity could protect entire crews if you're integrated into our ships. Dr. Rodriguez looked up from her data pad with excitement. Captain, if we could create mixed crews with humans and aliens, the human crew members might act like mental shields for the others. Commander Morrison nodded slowly. It's worth trying. And we do have the largest gathering of alien fleets in galactic history right here. Marcus looked around the room at his crew, then at Princess Lyrale. The weight of decision pressed down on him like a physical force. All right, he said finally. Contact all the fleet commanders. Tell them we need to meet immediately. If we're going to stop the Void Devourers, we'll need every ship, every crew, and every weapon we can gather. Princess Lyrale smiled, and for the first time in days, it reached her eyes. The prophecy also said the Guardians would unite the galaxy like never before. Perhaps that's already beginning. Outside the viewing port, alien ships began moving into new formations, preparing for the greatest battle in galactic history. The war room aboard the Zephyrian flagship Crystal Dawn buzzed with activity. Holographic displays showed the positions of 300 allied ships from 50 different worlds. Marcus stood at the center table with Princess Lyrale, studying battle reports that grew worse by the hour. 7 more colonies have gone silent, reported Admiral Korthax of the Stellar Republic. His blue skin had turned pale with worry. The Devourers are moving faster than our predictions. Commander Morrison pointed to the tactical display. They're not just destroying everything in their path. Look at this pattern. The hologram showed the Devourer's movement through space. Instead of a straight line, they were following a spiral pattern, hitting specific worlds while avoiding others. They're targeting population centers. Dr. Rodriguez observed, the more people on a world, the more likely they are to attack it. Princess Liralay's silver eyes reflected the light from the displays. They need living minds to absorb empty. Worlds hold no value for them. Marcus studied the pattern more carefully. How long until they reach the core worlds at their current speed? 5 days until they hit Nexus Prime, Admiral Corthax answered. 3 billion people live there. The weight of those numbers settled over the room like a heavy blanket. 3 billion lives depending on a strategy they had never tested, sir. Lieutenant Park's voice came through the communication system. We're receiving a distress signal from the Karate fleet. They engaged a Devourer ship near the Epsilon system. Marcus felt his heart stop. Put it through. The holographic display changed to show a Karate ship captain. His normally proud features were twisted with terror and confusion. This is Captain Vorthik of the Golden Spear, the alien said, his voice strange and mechanical. We have engaged the enemy, and his eyes suddenly went completely black. When he spoke again, his voice was different, cold and empty. Resistance is meaningless. Your thoughts belong to us now. Your dreams feed our hunger. Come to us willingly, and your absorption will be swift. The transmission ended abruptly. The war room fell into shocked silence. Admiral Corthax's hand shook as he reached for his weapons. The entire Karate fleet, he whispered, 200 ships, all their crews. Absorbed in minutes, Marcus turned to Princess Liralle. We need to test the human immunity theory right now, before we lose any more fleets. She nodded. I'll have my ship prepared for a scouting mission. No, Marcus said firmly. I'm going. If this doesn't work, I won't risk your life too. Princess Liralle stepped closer to him. Marcus, you're not going alone. The prophecies speak of guardians and guides working together. I'm coming with you. Commander Morrison started to protest. Captain, this is too dangerous. We should send a probe first. Or, Jake, Marcus interrupted his friend. We don't have time for safe options. People are dying right now. 2 hours later, Marcus and Princess Liralle approached the edge of Devourer territory in a small Zephyrian scout ship. The crew consisted of just four beings, Marcus, Liralle, and two Zephyrian pilots. Contact in 30 seconds, reported the pilot, her voice tense, through the viewing port. They saw it, a void Devourer ship. It was enormous, shaped like a twisted star, and seemed to absorb the light around it. Just looking at it made Marcus feel cold inside. I'm detecting the mental probe, Princess Liralle said, monitoring her instruments. It's trying to penetrate our minds. Marcus felt something touch the edge of his thoughts, something hungry. An alien. It felt like ice water flowing through his brain, searching for something to grab onto. But then, strangely, it seemed to slide away. It can't get a hold, he said in amazement. It's like trying to grab smoke. Princess Liralle looked at her readings in wonder. Your mind is protecting all of us. The mental chaos is creating a shield around the entire ship. The Devourer ship began to move toward them, but slowly, as if confused. It doesn't understand what we are, Liralle observed. The probe can't analyze us because your thoughts are too unpredictable. Marcus made a decision. Take us closer, sir. The pilot asked in shock. You heard me. If we're going to test this, let's test it properly. They flew closer to the massive alien ship. Marcus could feel the mental probe growing stronger, pressing against his mind like a crushing weight. But each time it tried to take control, his human thoughts, chaotic, emotional, and completely individual, scattered its influence. It's working, Princess Liralle said with excitement. The proximity readings show the Devourer can't lock onto our ship's systems either. Your mental protection is extending to our technology. Marcus smiled for the first time in days. Then we have our answer. Contact the fleet. Tell them to prepare for integrated cruise immediately. The next day, the combined fleet faced their first real test. The Void Devourers had moved into the Centauri system, threatening a world with 50 million inhabitants. Marcus stood on the bridge of the Crystal Dawn with Princess Liralle. and a mixed crew of humans and Zephyrians. Throughout the fleet, human crew members have been distributed among alien ships, never more than 5 humans per vessel, but enough to create the mental shields they needed. All ships report ready, Commander Morrison announced from his position on a Stellar Republic cruiser. Devourers detected. Dr. Rodriguez called out from her station on a karate battleship. 3 ships, moving toward the planet. Marcus took a deep breath. All fleet, this is Captain Chen. Remember, stay in formation. Keep your human crew members at their stations. They're your protection against mental attack. The fleet moved forward as one. 300 ships from 50 worlds, united under human leadership for the first time in galactic history. The Void Devourers responded immediately. Marcus felt their mental probe wash over the fleet like a dark wave. But this time, it broke against the human-protected ships like water against stone. Mental shields holding across all vessels, Princess Lyrale reported. The humans are protecting entire crews. All ships, begin attack pattern Alpha, Marcus ordered. What followed was unlike any battle in recorded history. The Void Devourers, unable to turn the allied crews against each other, were forced to fight with only their physical weapons. Their mental dominance, their greatest advantage, was completely useless. The first Devourer ship exploded in a flash of dark energy. Then the second, the third tried to flee, but the combined fleet surrounded it. This is impossible, Admiral Korthax said over the communication system, his voice filled with wonder. We're actually winning. Marcus watched the final Devourer ship explode and felt a surge of hope. But he also knew this was just the beginning. All ships, return to base, he ordered. We've proven the strategy works. Now we need to prepare for the real battle. Princess Lyrale moved to stand beside him at the viewing port. The core fleet is gathering at the galactic center. Intelligence suggests the Devourer nest mine is there. Marcus nodded. Then that's where we're going. It's time to end this, once and for all. Outside, the stars seemed brighter, as if the universe itself had gained new hope. The journey to the galactic center took 3 days. Marcus stood on the bridge of the Crystal Dawn, watching the stars grow denser as they approached the ancient core of the galaxy. Around them, the largest fleet in recorded history moved through space, over 800 ships from 60 different worlds. Long-range sensors are detecting massive energy readings ahead. Dr. Rodriguez reported from her station. Whatever's waiting for us, it's big. Princess Lyrale studied the tactical displays. The ancient records speak of a nest mine at the galaxy's heart, a central intelligence that controls all the Void Devourers. Marcus felt the weight of command on his shoulders. Every species in the galaxy was depending on this mission. If they failed here, there would be nowhere left to run. Captain. Commander Morrison's voice came through the communication system. We're receiving a transmission. It's not from any of our ships. Put it through, Marcus ordered. The main screen flickered, then showed something that made everyone on the bridge step backward. It wasn't a face or a form they could understand. Instead, it was like looking into a dark mirror that reflected nightmares. When it spoke, the voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. Guardians, it said, the word dripping with ancient hatred. You arrive at last. We have been waiting since. The last cycle ended. Marcus stepped forward, forcing himself to look directly at the screen. We're here to stop you from destroying any more innocent lives. The thing that might have been laughter echoed through the bridge. Innocent. There's no innocence in this galaxy. We have absorbed the memories of 1 trillion beings. We know every war, every betrayal, every cruelty your species have committed. That doesn't give you the right to enslave them, Princess Lyrale said, her silver eyes blazing with anger. Rights? The voice mocked. We are beyond such concepts. We are the end of all things, the final silence. We bring peace through unity. Dr. Rodriguez looked up from her readings with alarm. Captain, massive energy signatures are appearing all around us. They've been waiting in ambush. Through the viewing ports, the crew could see them. Dozens of Void Devourer ships, each one the size of a small moon, emerging from the darkness between stars. They had been hiding in the shadows, waiting for the Allied fleet to arrive. All ships, battle. Stations, Marcus ordered. Remember your training. Stay in formation and trust your human crew members. The first wave of mental attack hit like a tsunami of darkness. Marcus felt it crash against his mind, trying to find purchase in his thoughts. But his human consciousness, chaotic, emotional, and stubbornly individual, scattered the probe like light breaking through a prism dot around him. The Zephyrian crew members stood firm. The mental shield Marcus provided protected them all, shields holding across the fleet. Princess Lyrale reported, "The Devourers can't penetrate our defenses." "Then let's show them what happens when the galaxy fights back," Marcus said. "All ships, attack pattern Omega. Target the largest vessels first." The battle that followed lit up the galactic core like a new star. Energy beams crossed the void in brilliant streams of light. Explosions bloomed between the ships like deadly flowers. But as the fight continued, Marcus began to notice something strange. The Void Devourers weren't just attacking randomly. They were following specific patterns, almost like they were following orders from somewhere else. "Lyrale, look at this," he said, pointing to the tactical display. "See how they're moving? They're all connected to something." Princess Lyrale studied the patterns. "You're right. It's like they're extensions of a single mind." Dr. Rodriguez's voice cut through the battle noise. "Captain, I'm detecting an enormous energy source at the center of their formation. It's alive." On the screen, they could see it now. A massive structure that seemed to be part ship, part creature. It pulsed with dark energy, and tentacles of shadow reached out to touch each Devourer vessel. "That's the Nest Mine," Princess Lyrale breathed, "the source of their power." Marcus made a decision that would change everything. "All ships, concentrate fire on the central structure. If we can destroy that, we might be able to stop them all, sir." Commander Morrison's voice crackled through the communication system. "That thing is protected by at least 50 Devourer ships. We'll never get close enough." "Yes, we will," Marcus said firmly, "because we have something they don't expect." He turned to Princess Lyrale. "Can you get us through their lines?" She smiled, the expression full of trust and determination. "With you protecting my mind, I can fly us through anything." The Crystal Dawn broke formation and dove toward the Nest Mine. Around them, Devourer ships moved to intercept, but they were too slow. The small Zephyrian ship was fast and agile, dancing between enemy fire like a leaf in the wind. As they approached the massive central structure, Marcus felt the full force of the Nest Mine's attention focus on him. It was like standing in front of a black hole made of pure malevolence. "Your chaos protects you now," the voice spoke directly into his mind. "But chaos cannot last forever. Order always wins in the end." "You're wrong," Marcus replied, speaking aloud so Princess Lyrale could hear. "Chaos isn't our weakness. It's our strength. It's what makes us alive." They reached the Nest Mine's outer shell. Princess Lyrale brought the ship around for a final approach, weapons locked on target. She reported. "Fire," Marcus ordered. The energy beam struck the Nest Mine's core, and something incredible happened. Instead of simply exploding, the massive structure began to unravel. The dark tentacles connecting it to the Devourer ships withered and broke across the battlefield. The Void Devourer vessels suddenly stopped moving, without the Nest Mine to control them. They drifted aimlessly through space. "It's over, Princess," Lyrale said in amazement. "We did it." But Marcus was staring at something else on the scanner. Deep inside the collapsing Nest Mine, he could see chambers filled with light, countless points of brightness being released into space. "Those are the absorbed minds," Dr. Rodriguez said over the communication system, her voice full of wonder. "The Nest Mine kept them trapped, but now they're free." Marcus watched as the lights spread across the galaxy, returning to worlds that had been silent for thousands of years. Civilizations that had been consumed were being restored. "The prophecy was right," Princess Lyrale said softly, "but not in the way we expected. You weren't just sent to fight the Devourers. You were sent to free everyone they had ever taken." Marcus felt a weight lifting from his shoulders. "And now?" Princess Lyrale looked out at the alive fleet, ships from 60 worlds working together as one. "Now we rebuild, not just our civilizations, but our relationships with each other. She took his hand. The prophecy called you guardians of the final hour, but I think you're really the guardians of the first hour, the beginning of something new. Marcus smiled as he watched the alien ships moving into new formations, not for battle, but for exploration and cooperation. Welcome to the new galaxy, he said. Outside, the stars seemed to shine brighter than ever before.